Nowhere King. He needs a little bit of repairs, but I'm going to do this video now because then I can put him away because I have other stuff that I have to get going on. So this is his head. It is EVA foam with foam clay. His eyes are a muffin tray that I painted on the backside and then covered with clear nail polish so they didn't scratch. His joint hinge is an elastic band. It's very complicated, as you can see, that I just glued in, but that way it was nice and light because I wanted this to be as light as possible. The EVA foam head is set on top of this PVC pipe. There are 2 attachment points so I can put the horns in, and then this is what connects to his neck. And then inside it's just black, but underneath there are LED lights so that I can plug them in. There's a little pouch right there. And then this is the cord that manipulates his mouth. So there's just simple wire. So I will put the horns in and you can see what they look like with the horns. Oh, I probably... Oh, we're going to do disco mode apparently. So I can control that from inside the suit. I have a remote control that turns what color I want, but for intensive purposes, I don't need that right now because you can see that I can do it. Here are his antlers. They are rough on purpose because he is a goo monster, so I wanted to make them look a little bit not like actual antler, but a little bit gooey. And then, so they have a PVC pipe in the bottom. Then this whole part is wire with foam clay over top. Foam clay was nice because it moves and flexes a little bit. I have a little bit of stress points right here, but that's okay because I worked the costume pretty hard, so that's not really surprising. So I'm going to stick it into the hole here, and on the inside I have to push it through until I see the hole that I screwed in, and then I just have to sink. I don't even have to lock this nut, and then it's not going anywhere. I have tin foil around the antlers too that I put over top the foam clay just to give it a little bit more shape without having to spend a lot of money on foam clay. It probably would have been lighter if they were straight foam clay, but that's a different story. That one normally goes in all the way, I just can't find the right screw for it. So then I take his head, put it down somewhere that I can find. So this is his neck. Here's my backpack that I made for it. So it has strapping, it goes around my shoulders. That would help if they were unbuckled. So they go around my shoulders like this, and they come around my waist like that. I can cinch it up pretty tight. It has adjustable straps, so I can tighten it. This dowel comes out. There's just a screw. So there's just a T-post or a T thing that is in between the 2 sandwiches of cardboard. There is coat hanger wire. That is the support. So all of the straps are off this coat hanger wire in between. And then these are screwed on and hot glued and very much secure. Same with this one. So if I want to take this dowel out to put it away, I can just unscrew that. So if people are wondering how I get it out of my house, this is how I can break it down. And then all the way up at the neck. So that clips onto the head. And that blue PVC pipe slides in there just to give it a little bit more security. And then this foam part actually slides off. So I can slide this whole black thing off the PVC pipe so I can roll it up for storage. Because I wasn't allowed to build a big costume. And then I built a big costume. All of his ruffles are not done the way that I would have liked to have done them. This was Friday night and Saturday morning of Anime North. So they're just curly cues and like drop things that I will go back and resew all these, but to make them look a little nicer and fill them out a little bit because they are falling off. So the inside, I will have to stand back here because I don't think you're going to be able to see it from over there. So this is what the inside looks like. It is solid foam on the back, which I do have to add a hole to because I can't see directly behind me. And with such a big tail, I felt like that was probably a bit of an issue. Because I like to be able to essentially be self-sufficient when I do my mascots and big costumes because I feel safer doing that. I don't want to hit anyone. And then this is open. And so there's these bars that go all the way up. And the mesh on this side, underneath all these doohickeys, is mesh. I can see like 180 degrees on both sides. Like I have really, really good vision in this. Which again, I personally think is really important when I'm building a costume that I can wear it by myself for a little bit if I want to. I wasn't able to do that AN, but that was pretty much because I was rushing to get it done. And then I have Velcro at the bottom to attach it to the base. I do not have any Velcro at the top to attach it to the head because I wanted to make sure that I didn't restrict the movement of the head at all. So, oh, that's the other thing I didn't show. So at the top, there's also a eye hoop. So that string that controls the mouth will go thread through there. And it's a very long string. It probably could be way shorter, but it's nice having it long. And then I just sink that in down through the neck. But they're not going to be able to. So I slide it into that PVC pipe and clip at the same time. And there we go. It's not going anywhere now. There's a Velcro attachment at the top, so I can hide some of the seam. So yeah, so I have Velcro on the top side, but it's all open underneath. Because I didn't want to restrict this at all. And because he's a goo monster, we have all these goo stuff that hangs down when it sits like this, so you can't really see the opening anyway. And then it's just easier to attach this point if I need to fix it at all. So then this sits on my back. And there's my string. And his jaw is really sensitive, so when I was on stage, I really opened it big and he disappeared, his jaw disappeared in the tendrils a little bit, but I'm not moving them very big. But there's a lot of flex, which is good because it makes it look more realistic than being as solid. And it's very light. The head and the antlers combined are probably only 4 pounds. Yeah, 4 or 5 pounds. Which isn't so bad with the amount of harness that I have that attaches to my body. It doesn't really feel that heavy at all. Kind of like you're going to school with a big backpack. All right, now this is his body. And he's still all done up because that's just easier. So he is a big round foam blob. So there's essentially a foam baseball, basketball, whatever. So it has like the things that are joined together. Oh, so I'm taking it apart, so I thought I would just come over and, so this is the body. It's 1/2 inch upholstery foam, and then you can see it's so big, so big. So there's the 3 holes where the legs come out on each side, and then I have Velcro on the inside and the outside to make sure that they stay together. And then I have a little bit of wire attached because it is 1/2 inch upholstery foam. If I had made it out of 1 inch upholstery foam, I wouldn't have to do this because it would hold its shape a little bit better. And you can see I tried a couple times to where the legs were gonna go out, and then I just glued them back together. And if I had planned your costumes ahead of time, that's the big takeaway from this. Because this originally was supposed to be an inflatable, I made it with the same material that the tail was, because you need a material that the air isn't going to go through it. Having said that, this also has 0 stretch to it, so I had to put a ton of darts and seams in it to try to get it round shaped, and it's not great. That's why we have a lot of these tendrils and stuff like that, is to try to hide some of it. And you can see I've lost a number of them because while the hot glue works, it's not great for longevity. So like I said, I have to go in and I have to stitch all these together, I think, to really make this costume last longer, because I would like it to, because it's fun to wear. And then his tail is this through here. So this part is all inflatable, all longness of it. And the battery pack sits in this little spot that comes right off my bum. So after I have the costume on, I just, well, probably as I'm putting the costume on, I just hook it on. This is not sewn, it's not, the seams aren't glued. I did a couple test runs just to see if this would work, and it did, so all of it inflates. So there's like the inflatable fan right here that I sewed into, I bought it off of Amazon as a replacement one for those inflatable T-Rexes, sewed it in, so that's where the wire comes through. And the bonus part is I get sort of a bit of an air draft up inside this bubble that I'm in. So it gets quite, I'm not going to fit in the frame when it fully inflates. There we go. I'll just keep walking back, maybe you'll see. The tail didn't quite work out exactly the way that I wanted to, but it sort of hangs near the ground, so that's fine. I still think it's a neat idea to make a bigger costume bigger and store it. This was actually designed for all of the costume, was to do an inflatable for the front part too, but I just couldn't engineer it the way that I wanted to and still be able to see as well as I wanted to do. And I'd rather see. Shocking. Now his legs. So his legs, all million miles of them, are they're upholstery foam hooves. I do want to cover them with foam clay so I can put a little bit more sculpting in them. And they're PVC pipe with ball joints, which is why I get the nice movement with wire through them. They didn't hold the shape quite the way that I wanted to, so I do have to go back and fix these, but I never actually sewed the sleeve on, so I'm going to unfurl it and I can fix them, because I figured that they may not work quite the way that I had envisioned in my brain. I use some of those tendrils to hide, well, sort of hide, a little bit of where the legs come out. So all of these, like, I can just slide on this bubble over the legs, so they're Velcro around each of these holes. And then inside, and then the belt that sits like this. And then these are my attachment points for my legs. So that's my front leg, that's my side leg. So they're connected together, so when I move one, the other one moves. Same thing. My leg attachment points, I have a locking clip, and I have a little bit of adjustability to it if I need to. And the reason, if you're wondering what these are for, is so that they sit on the side of my hip to give it a little bit more stability from tipping. Because when I was doing a couple trail costumes, this wasn't quite wide enough. So it's just like, I don't know, 5 layers of cardboard hot glue onto each other to give it the stability I need. Here's one of the legs. Now that I can, so this is just carved foam. I am going to put foam clay over that to make it look more hoofy shaped, to put some things. I put padding in this one. This joint stayed together. These two joints, because they're so long and there was a lot of movement. This one behaved, this particular joint did not, but I'm not really blaming it because that's a lot of weight hanging off the bottom of it. And then to get the right angle, so this wire is connected all the way down through it to hold it together, essentially, in case it decided to, in case it decided to come apart. I had some wire to hold it together. And then I originally had contact cemented these two together, and they failed pretty much instantly when I put all the costume together. So I just went in and drilled and put more screws and stuff like that. All of my screws for the holes, there we go, all have both an end one and a safety one, so that if this one fails, this is still going to stay on. That way I can get it tight right to where I want it to, and then this just ends the cap. That way they're also pretty easy to take off, but not, they'll fall off on their own situation. And then in theory, this costume should pack down a lot smaller, because each leg folds like this. So I can put it in a box instead of being as big as it is. We'll see. I'll let you know how I end up putting it away. This sits over my shoulder on both sides, so I can give it a little bit of extra pressure off of it. I'm going to move my hot chocolate because I will inevitably spill that. Here's the belt on the inside. So you'll see that they're cardboard and EVA foam several times around thickness, just to hold the shape. And then the legs themselves are PVC joints that are screwed in with screws, and then heavily duty reinforced with nylon webbing and hot glue and stuff like that to hold them in the shape that I want. There is a little bit of a wiggle, but I wanted a little bit of a wiggle with them. And then same with these guys. The back two legs are just a different PVC pipe connector. It's a dual, so the legs should go out like that. With the idea being that if I wiggle one of the back legs, the other one was going to move, and then I could move these, because I can reach onto all these inside the costume. Back is just done up with Velcro. And then again, the tail is held on just with webbing through a reinforced webbing thing on a foam tube, essentially. I'll see if I can put it on. Oops. So this is what happened with these legs, is they kept getting, they're so long and unwieldy, they kept stretching out. So all the wire that I had spent so much time bending the right angle didn't quite work out. But that's okay, we learn. I stepped through a hole in the bottom, and I have some tendrils coming down off the bottom, to help, well, the idea was to help hide my legs a little bit. I think I need to make them a little bit longer. Make them a little bit longer so I can hide them a little bit better. All right. So yeah, so this is how it would sit on my waist. Where's the box? Okay, so when this is all done like this, I can reach back and get my battery pack, plug it in. It's kind of nice because I have a fan inside that was not intentional, but it works out nicely. So when I'm sitting like this, I can work, because this sits up like here, and then someone would do up the back. Once this eventually inflates. It's kind of too big for my house to really put it on inside, but you get the idea. So I'm not going to put the top part on because my roof is not tall enough, but essentially I would just put the backpack on and strap it in, put these up here, the Velcro would attach around the bottom of the neck. So yeah, so I would put this on my back, attach all the straps, and then someone would come and Velcro me onto the inside. The nice thing about this costume is, again, I am very much a safety conscious person about doing stupid things. I can rip this part off really easily and I can get my top half off, so I can actually, I'll be in the costume like this essentially, so I can get more air, I can drink, I can eat, etc. without having to take the whole thing off. Because it's a pain to get everything Velcroed in the back because I can't do it myself. But yeah, that's my thing. I'm excited to fix up some of the things that I didn't get done in time or that I need to fix. But yeah, that's the networking.
Presented by Katie and Alexander, entry 44 Journeyman.